All right. Oh my goodness. Do we have stuff to talk about tonight? The news is real. And I'm echoing. Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. How are you all doing? I'm so glad you're here. There's stuff to talk about. I plan on having a no news quiet day, finish up editing the cult video I'm working on, want to maybe play some video games or something. Nope, that didn't happen. Nope, not a chance. Hey, Mark, nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. Hi, not my verbiage, also known as, well, do you want me to reveal who you are? I'm not sure I should say. Huh. Hi, Lindsay, Rosie, TJ, Sky, Beth, Little Lady Di, Sherilyn, nice to see you, and Bipolar Princess, as always. All right, Andrew, there you are. Andrew, get with me, email me or something. We'll figure out your Discord. I know you said you're having trouble with it, so we'll get that sorted for you. Emily, hi, it's so good to see you. I got your message. I didn't respond to it yet, but I did get it. Thank you for that. Hi, Mindset Shannon. Hey, Charlie, how's it going? All right, let's jump into the news, right? Because I don't want to sit here and do hellos for 20 minutes because I hate listening to that. I don't know if you guys do when you hear a replay. But hi, everyone. We'll do some more call outs later. News. The first thing that happened this afternoon, about 1:15 p.m., the Rexburg police issued a search warrant at Chad Daybell's home. Right now, it's said that they delivered the search warrant to Chad's son-in-law, which we can assume is Joseph Murray. That's Emma's husband, because we know Emma's living there. So who else would it be, right? That's a pretty safe assumption. And they searched a little bit inside the house, but mostly concentrated on the outbuildings, like the barn and that little building. In the video at East Idaho News, which I'm going to drop a link to. Let me grab that for you. All right, there's the link to the East Idaho News story. If you haven't seen it yet, the video's on there. Eric Grossarth, please give him a follow. His Twitter link is in the description of this video, as well as the link to that. So he was there on scene, and you can see them walking around the yard. Looks like they're taking pictures and stuff. It's believed that they left with a couple of bags, but we don't know what they took. We also don't know what they were looking for. They didn't release the search warrant, so we don't know. But, man. So what do y'all think of that? There's a lot going through my mind about what they could have been looking for. Bridget, that's a really great point. When they did the search on the 9th and found JJ and Tylee, they released the property, like the next day back to the family. That surprised me. I was like, why is this not sealed off? Did they think they had everything they needed and they never have to go back? That was surprising to me that they turned the home back over to the family right away. And now we see them with another search warrant. Maybe it would have been better to just seal it off and not let anyone stay there till they were done. But whatever. We don't know. Also, I have a lot of thoughts in my head about what they might have been looking for. So we're going to have to wait and see. Don't want to get too speculative, but in the comments of my video, a lot of people have some really good ideas. So hopefully we'll get some, a few little tips about that. Because I'd kind of like to know. Hi, Darkside Jess. I hope you're feeling good. I miss you, honey. Hi, Jessica Watson. Oh, I don't recall. How you doing? Hi, Josie. All right. So we don't know what they were looking for. But they were looking mostly in the barn, mostly in the yard, walking around, took a lot of pictures. So, there we go. It could be stuff on Tammy's. East Idaho News, again, is saying it was in relation to JJ and Tylee, but they're saying that's just a guess because, logic. But it certainly could have something to do with Tammy, too. We know they're currently investigating her death. Back in April, which was not very long ago, law enforcement came out and said that they were looking at Chad and Lori for Tammy's death, for conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, all that. So it could be something about that, They could be looking for a lot of things. So, yeah, Patricia, why didn't they keep the property sealed if the case is solved? That's a really good question. And it may be a question that's going to actually come up in a big way, depending on what they found or were not allowed to find today because, people have been living there. So who knows? Anyway, dead raccoons, that could be a thing. But that news is one thing. We also got something else that Justin Lum just posted on his Twitter and his Facebook. If you're following Justin Lum, it's JLum News 10, I believe. JLum Fox 10. Let me find that out for sure. JLum Fox 10 on Twitter. Okay, Justin Lum and Nate Eaton are the two reporters who have really been just covering everything about this case. So he put up some new documents. Now, I'm going to read the documents to you. I'm going to put them on the screen so you can see them. But let's get some background information before we do this. As you know, Melanie Pulowski was married to Brandon Boudreau. They have 4 children together. All right, Brandon has custody of those children at this point in time. They are currently in the middle of a custody battle. Now, he has submitted papers to the court back and forth. This has been going on and on for a while. And all of those documents are in my Discord. All right, so if you need a link to Discord, yell at the mods, they'll grab you one real quick. Everything that has been filed on both sides that we have access to is already posted, so you can go read through those. We're not going to read through all of them tonight because we'd be here for days. But tonight, Brandon, or sometime today, Brandon filed some more additional paperwork, all right, about what's coming up. This hearing is supposed to be happening on July 1st, and Melanie Gibb, of all people, is going to be testifying on behalf of Brandon. Okay, now that's a really big deal right there, because Melanie Gibb and Melanie Pulowski were very close. But Melanie Gibb is actually testifying on behalf of Brandon. I think that's a big deal. I'm very eager to see what she's going to say. So let's jump into these documents. I'm going to figure out how to share my screen so you can see them. Give me 1 second here. Share. All right. Can you see that document? Let me check. I believe you can. There you go. All right. It's on the screen. All right. The first 3 pages in this filing are actually a statement. Why wouldn't it let me tab to that? Give me that. Oh, my goodness. Well, let me see it. I was going to read it to you. Wait, there we go. Okay. The first 3 pages are a statement from Ryan Pillar. All right, because he's not going to be testifying in person, so this is kind of like his testimony. So let's just read through it real quick, and then we can talk about it. Page 1, I, Ryan Pillar, having been first duly sworn upon oath, state as follows. I am a detective with the Gilbert Police Department, badge number 3451, and I'm assigned to the criminal investigation relating to the attempted murder of petitioner Brandon Boudreau. I am providing this affidavit at the request of petitioner's counsel in lieu of testifying at the hearing scheduled for July 1st, 2020 in the above referenced matter. Okay. Did it change image? Yes, it did. Ooh, this technology stuff is great. I was previously supposed to testify at that hearing by respondent Melanie Pulowski, aka Boudreau, or formerly known as. Melanie Pulowski is a person of interest in the investigation related to the attempted murder of Brandon Boudreau. No charges as of the date of execution of this affidavit have been brought against Melanie Pulowski. The investigation into the attempted murder of Brandon Boudreau is an ongoing investigation. In October 2019, Mr. Boudreau was informed that there were concerns by law enforcement over the safety of Mr. Boudreau and his children. All right, that right there. In October of 2019, Mr. Boudreau was informed that there were concerns by law enforcement over the safety of Mr. Boudreau and his children. Okay, remember that. That's an important line. Number 7, at no time during this investigation has Mr. Boudreau hid his or his children's whereabouts from law enforcement. At 2 points during October 2019, I made contact with Melanie Pulowski. On October 3rd, I initiated contact with Ms. Pulowski to inform her of the shooting at Mr. Boudreau. On October 16th, 2019, Ms. Pulowski contacted me regarding her children. Ms. Pulowski did not contact me again after this date with respect to her children or request my assistance in locating her children. The investigation into the attempted murder of Brandon is part of a multi-law enforcement agency investigation that is spread across a number of jurisdictions. All right, so that's kind of big news, I think. What do you think about that? We're going to hash it out in a minute, but there are some more papers, so let's go through. These are taken from the whole body of the document, which we don't have, so we're just going to have to go through the snippets. I will try to get the entire thing, hopefully later on tonight or tomorrow morning, and get it posted for you. So let's continue reading. Detective Pillar states in his affidavit that mother, which is Melanie, is a person of interest in the investigation related to the attempted murder of Brandon, and that the investigation is ongoing. Detective Pillar states in his affidavit that on October 16th, Melanie contacted him regarding her children, and that she did not contact him again after this date with respect to her children or request his assistance in locating her children. Rob H. Wood, Madison County prosecutor, who has been appointed as a special prosecutor to investigate and prosecute the charges against Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell, has indicated to Brandon that Melanie is a person of interest in the other multiple felonious acts, including the missing children, both now confirmed deceased. That's a bomb. All right, interesting. Melanie's media interviews throughout this litigation are filled with conflicting statements from one interview to the next. Beautiful. On or about June 5th, 2020, Ian Pawlowski and Natalie Pawlowski appeared for a hearing on Natalie Pawlowski's petition for order of protection, which listed their minor children as protected parties. That's Ian's ex-wife, Natalie, is trying to get a protective order on her children, so they will not be anywhere near Melanie. That's kind of interesting. Following the hearing, the 7th Judicial District, Madison County Court Judge, found that reasonable grounds existed to enter a renewed protection order, domestic violence, allowing Ian Pawlowski to only have supervised parenting time and contact with his children. Since entry of this renewed protection order, Mr. Pawlowski has had no contact with his children. Moving on. Was that the last page? No, here we go. Brandon further requests that no requirement be imposed upon him to remain in Arizona with the children due to the ongoing concerns over the actions and beliefs of Melanie, her current husband, and other members of the cult. Melanie Gibb has told Brandon of the conversation she had with Melanie, wherein Melanie told Ms. Gibb that 2 of the other parties' children were zombies. Melanie Pawlowski told Melanie Gibb that 2 of her own children were zombies. Okay, that's huge. Melanie Gibb has also told father that Melanie revealed that Brandon had gone from being dark to a zombie, and that he was part of Hitler's tight group of friends during Hitler's life. Oh, good grief. The belief of the members of the cult are that once a person becomes a zombie, the only way for their soul to be freed is for them to die. Brandon in no way wants any of his children or himself to be harmed or murdered, and should the risk to them once again become a concern for law enforcement, and the next paragraph is cut off. But the conclusion, Brandon requests that the court deny Melanie's motion to set aside the judgment order, or in the alternative, motion to modify emergency temporary orders, as Brandon has provided sufficient evidence supporting the need for emergency orders to remain in place in order to protect the party's very young minor children. If the emergency orders are set aside, the party's children will be placed at a grave risk of harm based on the fact that Melanie has told Melanie Gibb that 2 of her children and Brandon are zombies, and that Melanie's new husband was found to pose a risk of harm to his own biological children and is only allowed supervised parenting time with those children, which he has yet to exercise. So, my freaking goodness. Guys, I read all that and I haven't looked at chat at all. So, I'm sorry, I missed all the conversation, but now I'm back reading your chat. So, wow. Andrew says, Great Caesar's ghosts, these people are certifiable. 100%. 100%. So, what did we learn from this? We do know that the police are investigating Melanie Pawlowski in regards to JJ and Tylee's death and disappearance, but also to the attempted shooting of Brandon. All right. So Melanie Pawlowski is in a lot of hot water. You know, how many of us have been asking, are they at least looking at her? What do they think? Will there be charges? We know they are now. They are really looking at her. But the most shocking thing that I read in those documents is that Melanie Gibb told Brandon that Melanie Pulowski thinks 2 of her own children are zombies. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All right. So what does this tell me? This tells me we know that Melanie Gibb totally ran with the whole zombie thing, right? She knew that Charles was killed from being a zombie. She was in the home when JJ was killed. She knew Tylee was already gone. But so did Melanie Pulowski, to the same level that she thinks her own kids are zombies. I don't have language to describe how crazy these people are. There are not enough words in the English language to explain how crazy this is. Right now, here's Brandon. They already tried to kill him once, and now he knows that she might want to kill 2 of their kids. I mean, not only do I hope he gets full custody and she is never allowed near them again, but I hope she gets pulled in for a psych eval or something. I mean, my goodness gracious. Oh, excuse me, my soda went down the wrong pipe. Whew. Oh, that was rough. Oh, yeah. The word on the street is that Melanie Pulowski is pregnant. I don't know that for sure. I have not verified that in any way, but it's quite possible. And if she is, what if that child's a zombie? Oh, and the reference, yes, thank you, Carol Donaldson, linking them up to a previous life with Hitler. Like, I, oh, I'm doing this live to talk to you. I can't even find words to make a sentence about this. The crazy is off the charts. It is. It's just off the charts. Melanie and Chad, Lori, Melanie Gibb, David, Ian, this whole little culty group, they think that Brandon Boudreau was a friend of Hitler's. Uh-huh. Okay. Great. Yeah. However, Dolly Dittman says, please, these children need to be saved. Dolly, I think Brandon is doing everything humanly possible to keep his kids safe. I really do. He has been working with law enforcement, obviously, since at least October of last year. He's been working with Natalie Pulowski, which is Ian's ex-wife. So I think Brandon really gets what's going on. He sees it for what it is, and law enforcement seems to be listening to him. Thank goodness. Right? Remember, that I don't think law enforcement really took Charles's claim seriously, but at least they're taking Brandon's claim seriously. So that's good news. The only reason Gibb is coming forward is to take control of the cult. Jess, I totally agree. Take control of the cult, but also to kind of save her own butt. That's quite a possibility. I'm looking for my stuff. Oh, just 1 second. I have to blow my nose real quick. Okay, sorry about that. Hi, Kika. We just started a few minutes ago, about 18 minutes, so you haven't missed. Well, actually, you missed everything. We had some news in the case. Let's get caught up for anyone who's recently joined. First, Rexburg PD executed a new search warrant at Chad Daybell's property today. They searched the outbuildings, the barn, and other little buildings primarily, walked around the yard, took some pictures, removed a few bags of things. The search warrant, I don't know if it's sealed, but they certainly didn't tell us what it says. We haven't seen the search warrant. And, that's all we know. They took some stuff. They didn't say what they were looking for. Rob Wood was approached for comment, and he declined to comment. So they're not telling us what they were looking for. It could be about JJ and Tylee. It could be about Tammy's death, so who knows? Hopefully we will hear something on that soon. But the other big thing today is we got a lot more information about Melanie Pulowski. My goodness. All right. the history with Melanie Pulowski. Melanie, let's start with her parents. Melanie is the daughter of Stacy and Steve Cope. Stacy is the daughter of Janice and Barry Cox, Lori's sister, right? So Melanie is Lori's niece, right? Now, if you watch the video I put up today with the family tree, it shows all of that. So it might help you to keep it all straight in our head of who's who. Melanie first married Brandon Boudreau, and they have 4 really stunning children together. And they had what seemed to be a perfectly happy, wonderful marriage until one day Melanie comes to Brandon and says, "I want a divorce. Bye." And Brandon's like, "What? What the heck?" So she leaves, right? Brandon keeps custody of the children because he's like, no, you're not right in the head. And there's been a bitter custody battle ever since, to the point where Melanie was even arrested at one point for showing up to the home to try and get the children. She said that she had a court order in her hand granting her custody of the children, banged on the door, wouldn't go away. They called the police, and she was arrested. And Brandon still has the children. So that's what's going on there. He has been filing some documents showing what evidence he's going to be presenting in the custody hearing on July 1st. And when I first brought that to you, remember I said, I'm surprised that this is going to be going forward because a lot of the information he's talking about seems very material to the Chad and Lori case. Interesting. I wonder how the court is going to deal with that. But in the filing today, we got a lot more information. And it's even worse than we thought. The biggest takeaways from the court documents, I can put them back up on the screen while we talk so new people can read them. Give me 1 second. Open and share my screen. All right, there you go. The biggest takeaways that I got from these documents were that, number one, the Gilbert Police Department is investigating Melanie Pulowski, right, both for the attempted shooting of Brandon, but also for the disappearance and death of JJ and Tylee, right? So Melanie Boudreau Pulowski is in a lot of hot water. So very, very interesting. Some of the other information that we found out is that law enforcement in big law enforcement, not just the Gilbert PD, they're looking at Melanie's TV interviews. Okay, so that's good. We were talking about that the other night. Are law enforcement watching all these people on TV and reading all their statements? You can bet that they are. They really, really are. So excellent news. And the biggest thing is that Melanie told Melanie Gibb that 2 of her children and Brandon are zombies. Yep. So, wow, man. I don't even know. I'm totally lost for words. It is stunning, Emily. It is very stunning. It's hard to understand this level of dysfunctional thinking. It's not something that I can understand logically. I can't even understand it from a psychological perspective because it's that crazy. It's one thing, like when we looked at the case of Andrea Yates, right? Andrea Yates had actual mental illness, all right? And she believed her children were possessed, and the only way to save them was to kill them. And she did, and she called the police and she told them exactly what she did. That was one person. I can understand that in the case of really extreme postpartum depression that turns pathological. I get that. All right. It's horrible and it's horrifying, but I can understand it. With this, it's not just one person. It's not just 2 people. It's Chad and Lori and both the Melanies and Ian and David and Jason Mao and Julie Rowe and Hector Sosa. And you can go on and on and on with the list of people who believe this stuff. That is terrifying to me. There are people out there right now, free on the street, not in jail, that believe there are zombies and they have to kill them to set them free. And they believe some of these children are zombies. I don't know. I don't get it. You know, it's very hard for me to believe. And what I would like to see would be for all of these people, creeple, there you go, all these creeple to be rounded up and put in a psych ward for a while, you know, just so everyone else is safe till we get them fixed or something. But it's pretty terrifying. Off-duty beauty, thank you. How do you pronounce your name? My name, technically, it's pronounced Awen. It's a Welsh name, but because I'm American and it's just easier to say, I just say Awen. So we go with Awen, but Awen works too. So yeah, creeples, creeples, bipolar princess. There are creeples. Oh, that's a new word. You heard it here first. Creeples. So, man, I'm really shocked. Honestly shocked by this filing from Brandon. I've read all of the custody documents up to date. And this one has some new stuff that really drives the point home, doesn't it? When we talk about, you know, how could Lori and Chad have killed JJ, or if Alex did it and Tylee and all of this stuff, and these people, they didn't even notice. No, they did notice, and they agreed with it, and they went along with it. It's not a case of Melanie Gibb not knowing what happened or Melanie Pulowski not seeing anything. They went along with it. To me, that makes this so much more horrifying than it did before that knowledge. Emily, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. A lot of my success is due to Emily Flotilla. She is, my spirit source in the background. I love you, Emily. Thank you. Oh, man. The whole crowd must be placed in a large psychiatric hospital and looked after. You know, Suzanne, I never thought in my lifetime I would say something like that, but I absolutely agree with you, because I've been doing a lot of looking now into Julie Rowe and some of the other people involved in this group. And there are a lot of them, and they're still very active. Hector Sosa's active. Jason Mao is active. Julie Rowe is all over any kind of TV or social media she can find to tell her story. Eric Smith, all of these people, they didn't just say, oh, Chad and Lori were bad. Okay, well, let's just go do something else now. No, they're still pushing the exact same thing. All right, that's a big problem. Somebody asked about Zulema. Zulema, Alex married Zulema about 2 weeks before he died. She has been nowhere. Right? She's not on any social media. She hasn't been on TV. I have no idea, even if law enforcement knows where she is, if they've gotten in touch with her and questioned her. No idea. But Zulema appears to have a history of fleeing situations that get bad. So who knows? Hopefully they'll be able to find her and get her story, because I think there's a story there. I don't think Alex died of natural causes, no matter what the autopsy report says, which flies in the face of reason and logic and science. I know, but I have a hard time thinking anyone involved in this case died of natural causes. You know, you heard she was in Chile. It's possible. And who knows where she could be? She could be in Lori's basement, you know? Isn't Zulema a pharmacist? I'm not sure if she's a pharmacist. I know at one point she worked for some like insurance investment company, but she does energy work and who knows what she does. My goodness. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Zulema is in very deep hiding, because, you know, if they're looking at Melanie in relation to Brandon's attempted shooting, they're probably looking at Zulema in relation to Alex Cox's death. So, you know, if I were her, I'd be hiding. Of course, I wouldn't be her, because I'm not a psychopath. Goodness gracious. Oh, all right. So let's recap again. A lot of new names are here. Earlier this afternoon, about 1 o'clock, 1:15, Rexburg Police Department went to Chad Daybell's property again. They knocked on the door. They served a search warrant to Chad's son-in-law is all the news report says. We can assume that's Joseph Murray, which is Emma's husband, because we know that Emma moved into the home the day after Chad was arrested. So they served the search warrant. They poked around the house a little bit, but they focused most of their search on the barn, the outbuildings, and they walked around the yard taking pictures. All we know is that they removed a couple bags of evidence. No idea what was in it. The search warrant is not released, so we don't know what they were looking for, and we don't know if this was exactly pertaining to JJ and Tylee or to Tammy or both, or all three, rather. We don't know. So hopefully we'll find out. I would like to get my hands on that search warrant and see what they were looking for, but I'm sure we'll hear that eventually. So that was, kind of interesting news. However, we do have the other news that dropped today. Brandon Boudreau filed some new papers with the court. They have an upcoming custody battle on July 1st between him and Melanie Pulowski over their 4 children. The children are currently in Brandon's care, and he is keeping them safe. And what we saw in this document tonight really drives the point home of how dangerous these people are. Right? The police, what we learned from this document that at least I didn't know before, was that the police are actively investigating Melanie Pulowski for the shooting attempt at Brandon, and actively investigating, or at least considering Melanie a person of interest in regards to the disappearance and death of JJ and Tylee. They think she might be involved with that. Could the involvement be limited to the fact that she knew? Possibly. Or do they think there's something else involved there? That's really big and kind of scary. Rosie, thank you. Aw, Rosie's one of my newest patrons, and I've been having a great time getting to know her. I'm so glad you're here, Rosie. Thank you so much. Oh, so yeah, Melanie's in trouble. The other thing was that we learned that Melanie believes 2 of her own children are zombies. All right, so Melanie and Lori are blood relatives. Melanie's Lori's niece, and here's 2 of them believing their own kids are zombies. Is it time we start looking at the psychology of this family? I think it might be. We're going to have to do a deep dive. I did read all of the custody documents between Steve Cope, Melanie's father, and Stacy Cox Cope, Melanie's mother. There's a lot there. There's a lot to that. Melanie's mother was not a well person psychologically. And as a result of Melanie's mother's issues, Melanie went through a lot of really difficult, traumatic things as a young child. Okay, that's something to note. And as far as Lori is concerned, I don't know what direct trauma Lori suffered as a young child, but there's something wrong with many people in this family. Remember, Alex Cox is Lori's brother. He was a hitman. He killed people, at least one that we know of. He attempted to kill Joe Ryan, maybe involved in the children's deaths. At least was at the home when they were buried. So, there's a lot of illness in this family. So that's something that we're going to have to start digging into. They're not all nuts, Miss Wee Lassie. We have Adam Cox, who seems very sensible. His son, Zach, I think the world of Zach Cox is really cool. Get to know him on social media. He's a fun guy. So there are some in the Cox family that stand out as sane and normal and grounded. Not many. Not many. So, but yeah, Melanie Gibb is going to testify on behalf of Brandon at this custody hearing. Stormy says, congratulations on reaching 2,000 subscribers. You're an amazing person. I'm thrilled for you. Thank you, Stormy. Stormy is also one of our mods here. My mod team is amazing. They are constantly in my DMs with encouragement and motivation and positive feedback, and I could not do this without any of them. So when you see the blue wrenches in the room, please give them a hug, because they are the power behind everything that happens here. And I love you all so much. Oh. But all right, what was I saying? Court documents, Melanie. I forget what I was saying. I was saying something. It might not have been important. Might have been. Now, let me read some comments. What are you guys thinking about all of this stuff? You know, you have several demented people working together. Yeah, Gulf Coast Girl, that's what bothers me the most. You all know Paul, reporting live from my sofa. I'm sure the mods will drop a link to his channel in there. He and I were on the phone today a couple times, right? Because he's doing some looking into Julie Rowe. And he calls me like, I want to do a video about Julie Rowe, but how does it stop? You know, because you look at Julie Rowe and then you see this person and then you see that person and then it goes over here, over there. And it's like this never ending spider web of crazy people. And I'm like, yeah, how come you think I haven't made a video on Julie Rowe yet? Because you can't just talk about Julie Rowe. It is a cult. It is widespread. It is vast and it is scary. You know, you don't know where to start. You don't know where to end. You pick up one stone to look under it, and next thing you know, there's a quarry of other stones that now you have to look under. You know, and then it just keeps going and going and going. So it's a crazy case. Rabbit hole. I would have called it a rabbit hole maybe a month ago. Now I call it, I have no idea, rabbits who are strung out on crack digging up the entire ground. You know? But the scary thing for me is that Julie Rowe and her cohorts, they're all still out there. They're all still doing their stuff. They're making their podcasts. They're selling their books. They're on social media. They're making videos. They're still pushing it. They are still pushing these crazy beliefs. Julie Rowe went on national television and said that maybe Chad killed Tammy with an energized, poisoned spirit weapon that nobody could see but him. Okay? This is somebody saying this on national television. And she prefaced it by saying, I know this will sound crazy, but I speak the truth. Are you kidding me? Is there no point in our society where we can just pluck someone off the street and say, they're crazy, they need to be put away somewhere safe? Because if we have a law like that, I think it's time to invoke it. Honestly, you know, magic, invisible, energized poison weapons don't exist. They just really don't. But she's out there singing the song. Right now, remember, 4 days before they found the bodies in Chad's yard, she was singing another song. Chad is wonderful. Chad is the best. Chad is like the new Messiah. Oh, he's going to lead the 144,000. He's the bestest ever. And as soon as they discover the kids, she's on TV saying, he's a sexual predator. He told me I was his wife in another life. It's like, lady, you can't do that. When you backtrack like that and change your story that fast on a dime, you don't have any credibility. You know, but Nancy Grace keeps having her on. I believe she's going on Nancy Grace again tomorrow. So that ought to be fun. My goodness. Doesn't her testimony show how much Melanie G really knows? It does, Jessica. From everything we've heard about Melanie Gibbs, you are 100% right. She knows everything. She knows everything. So, and now we know that Melanie P is involved. James Owens brings up a really good point. Ian's notes. All right, if you haven't seen this, I believe I posted it in our Discord channel, so you can go back and read. If not, I will get it posted. Ian, remember when Ian and Melanie got married, right? He was approached by the FBI, and they asked him to wear a wire to talk to Melanie, his brand new wife, to find out some information about the children and the shooting attempt at Brandon. Right, so he agrees to wear this wire, and he's recording phone calls from Lori and Chad. He's talking to, Melanie and trying to get some information, but he decides to keep a detailed notes list of everything that he's learning. And he writes this document on his laptop and saves it. His son took the laptop home with him when he went home to Natalie's home, Ian's ex-wife, and Natalie, going through the laptop, finds this document and reads it, and she is, of course, mind blown. Like, what on God's green earth is this nonsense? So Natalie takes this information and she decides she's going to do something about it. And she's been working with Brandon so that both sets of children, Natalie's children and Brandon's children, are kept far, far away from Ian and Melanie. So I really hope that they are successful, because this has got to stop. This has just got to stop. You know, imagine if Melanie had her 4 children and she thought 2 of them were zombies. What do you think was going to happen to those kids? We've seen what has happened to every single person Chad and Lori said was a zombie. They're all dead. Why would we think Melanie's children would be any safer? You know, it's crazy. But yeah, Ian's notes do suggest that Melanie P knew everything that was going on, and not just knew, but believed it and went along with it and enabled it. You know, that, to me, that's culpability. I don't know if legally it is, but in my mind, at least morally and ethically, she's as culpable for those deaths as whoever actually killed them all. And by all, I mean Joseph, Charles, Tammy, JJ, Tylee, and even Alex. You know? That's 6 people. 6 people are dead because these people, these creeples, believe these wackadoodle things. And there are still people out in the world promoting these beliefs and wanting to be leaders of the 144,000. And we have one of them who's a militant ex-cop, ex-military, who thinks he's Captain Moroni, and he's going to, be the military arm to lead the 144,000 through the tribulations. If that doesn't scare you, then you're not paying attention. This guy thinks it's his job to physically protect the 144,000 through the tribulations. And every picture he puts of himself on the internet is him with a giant rifle of some sort, or dressed up in his LARPing costume when he goes traipsing through the woods as Captain Moroni. Whatever, but that's not a healthy person. That's not normal, and it's not okay. So it's very scary, Shannon. I agree. And I'm a little shook. I don't like using that word anymore, but I am shook knowing that Melanie thought 2 of her own kids were zombies. I thought it to the point where she told that to Melanie Gibb. So they're talking about it with each other. So Melanie, now see, here's the other thing. Melanie Gibb, she's seen Charles die. She knew Charles was a zombie. She saw Tammy die. She knew that Chad and Lori wanted Tammy dead. She saw JJ and Tylee die. Now, when I say saw, I don't mean that she physically witnessed it. I don't know that. But she knew about their deaths. She witnessed their passing insofar as she knew it was being planned. She knew they were zombies. All this has happened. And then Melanie tells her, hey, guess what? 2 of my kids are zombies too. Why was Melanie Gibb not jumping up and down in the lobby of the police department like, help, somebody, please help. Somebody, do something. You know why she wasn't doing that? Because she was going along with it. She believed it too. And all of her TV interviews saying, oh, I was deceived. Sorry. I can't with that. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. She may be trying to do the right thing a bit, because if she's going to testify on behalf of Brandon, that will help Brandon have custody of those children and keep them away from Melanie. Do I believe that that's, that absolves her of anything? Absolutely not. She might think it does. I don't think it does. I really, really hope that Melanie Gibb is brought in on some kind of charge. I really do, because this is just scary. So, I'm thirsty. I am ranting. I am turned up, as Paul would say. Whew. So, new documents tonight. Brandon Boudreau and Melanie Pulaski are due in court on July 1st for for the custody hearing. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Repeat the update. Yep. All right, just go with it. I'm going to start with a quick update of everything that happened today. The first thing, about 1:15 this afternoon, Rexburg Police Department served a search warrant at Chad Daybell's property. They served the paper to Chad's son-in-law, which we can assume is Joseph Murray, Emma's husband. And they looked around the house a little bit, but mostly focused on the barn in the backyard, other outbuildings. They walked around the yard. They took some pictures, and they removed a few bags of evidence. Now, the search warrant has not been released. I haven't seen it. We don't know what it says. Rob Wood, who is the special prosecutor in the case of Chad and Lori, was called for comment, and he declined to comment on the content of the search warrant. So we don't know what they were looking for, but they found something. My main takeaway from that is they should not have released the home back to the family before they were done searching it, because who knows what they've gotten rid of in the meantime. So there's that. The second big thing that happened today was Brandon Boudreau has filed some new papers for the custody hearing, and there's a few new tidbits of information in these papers that I just learned today. Other people may have known it, but it's new to me, so I'm sharing it with you. The first thing was that one of the detectives who is looking into the attempted murder of, or at least the attempted shooting of Brandon, says that Melanie Pulowski, Brandon Boudreau's ex-wife, Lori Vallow's niece, is a person of interest in the case of JJ and Tylee, as well as being investigated for the shooting attempt at Brandon. So Melanie Pulowski is in a lot of trouble. Okay, that's a big deal. The other thing that we heard from the paperwork is that Melanie Gibb is going to be testifying on behalf of Brandon, and one of the things she's going to say is that Melanie Pulowski believed 2 of her own children were zombies. She thought her kids were zombies. This is a woman who has been crying all over the news about this custody battle, and she loves her kids, and she wants her kids back. And what does she want them back for exactly? You know? Oh, that it's terrifying. The level of crazy we see in these people is actually terrifying. So, oh man, and remember their interview. You can go to East Idaho News on their YouTube. You can watch Melanie and Ian doing an interview. And she sits there like Melanie Gibb, trying to look all normal and sweet and innocent. And she uses that high-pitched tone of voice and la, 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 la. No, she knew they thought people were zombies. She believed people were zombies. And what do you do when someone's a zombie? You have to kill them. That's what they believe. So it's just, my mind is blown. I'm literally holding my face in my hands because I cannot believe this. Casey says, thank God those kids are okay. Absolutely. Brandon and Brandon's family have worked very hard to keep those kids away from Melanie. Remember that Melanie was arrested. I don't have the exact date because I don't have all my folders in front of me. But she did try to show up at the house to take the kids. And she says, I have a court order in my hand, but whether she did or didn't is not the point. She was arrested because she wouldn't leave the property. And she did not get those kids. Thank God she did not get those kids. So, man. But yeah, imagine from Brandon's point of view, right? He thinks he's happily married to this woman, right? He said they had a wonderful marriage and she was very, very happy till she showed up someday and said she wanted a divorce and she was leaving. And he's like, what? Right? What's wrong with you? So now he realizes his wife has gone off the deep end into cult town and they try to kill him. He was shot at. He calls the police. He identifies the vehicle that the shot came from as the Jeep that Charles Vallow owned before he died. That had been given to Tylee. But at that point, Tylee was already gone. So who do you think was driving it? That's never been proven. I would put money on Alex, obviously, but perhaps Chad, maybe Lori, maybe Jason Mao, maybe Melanie Gibb. We don't know. But somebody driving Charles Vallow's Jeep shot at Brandon Boudreau trying to kill him. It missed him and it wedged itself in the door jamb of his Tesla. So, first I'd be mad about that. Teslas are not cheap. But, so this guy is like, they're trying to kill me. Great. And remember what happened. Brandon reports this shooting. And it wasn't very much later, just a few days, 9 days or something. I have to look at the timeline again, where Tammy Daybell, Tammy Daybell makes a post on Facebook saying that she thinks somebody tried to shoot at her with a paintball gun. Now, the significance of the paintball gun is that Brandon, when he called the police, said he thought it sounded like a paintball gun, so it must have been a silencer. Did the same person try to shoot Tammy? Because Tammy died 10 days later after somebody shot at her with a paintball gun. Isn't that a big deal? I think that's a pretty big deal. Give me 1 second. I'll blow my nose again. So I think I need to do a new timeline because there's so many. If we look at the series of events, I believe that Joseph Ryan was Lori's first victim. Right? He died in 2018. I was confused in my head when we were talking about it the other night because in 2007, Alex Cox assaulted Joseph Ryan, I believe with a taser. And he actually pled guilty to that and served time in jail. Right? That was 2007. And Joseph died in 2018. By the time 2018, Lori at least knew of Chad. Whether they had met or not is in question. But Lori was already there, right, with the Chad stuff, at least reading his books or something. She knew of him. And then Joseph dies. Why? Life insurance money. He's in the way. Whatever. But I think that's where this all started, is with Joseph Ryan's death. And then what happens next? Charles Vallow dies. We know that Alex killed Charles Vallow. That's not a question. He says it was self-defense. We all say bollocks to that. All right, so now Alex has attacked 2 of Lori's husbands and killed one of them, possibly both of them. Oh my goodness. The crazy is off the charts. So after Charles dies, the next person to die would be Tylee, and then JJ, then Tammy, and then Alex. And does anybody on this planet think that these deaths are not connected? I don't even see how it's possible to think that. I don't believe Joseph Ryan was natural causes. I don't believe Charles Vallow was self-defense. I don't believe Alex Cox was natural causes. I don't believe Tammy Daybell was natural causes. Certainly the children were not. So, it's just crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Oh. Man. Zulema has an ex-stepdaughter that said she was haunted by messages. Yes, Mary Ann Olar says about Zulema's ex-stepdaughter. If you look on the Reddit forum, the Lori Vallow Reddit board, there are, I think, 2 posts by a woman who says that she was the ex-stepdaughter of Zulema and has some very interesting things to say about Zulema. Now, we can't verify that really is her ex-stepdaughter, but, at this point, it sounds perfectly plausible, so there you go. New charges have just been filed against Lori Vallow. All right, here we go. Woohoo! Oh man, this is good. All right. I'm getting them. Brandon Boudreau. Let me see. 2 counts of conspiracy to conceal or destroy evidence. What? That's it? Really? Just that? All right. Apparently, Lori has been charged with the same charges that Chad Daybell has. 2 counts of destroying or concealing evidence. Well, that's not exciting. I was hoping for murder or something. Her counts are conspiracy to conceal or destroy evidence. So take that for what you will. I don't panic. I'm pretty sure the murder and other charges will be coming once the autopsy and forensics are complete. We're still waiting on that, and they said just the other day it could take a couple weeks for the rest of the testing that they're waiting for. But Lori has now been charged with conspiracy to conceal or destroy evidence, the same as Chad. Evidence, yes, ECP. The evidence would be the missing children. I need to see the charges, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be dated the same way. Remember, the two charges against Chad, one was dated like September 9th and September 23rd, so the day after the last known sightings of the kids. So I would assume Lori's Lori's charges are going to be dated the same. All right, so let that sink in. They think that Lori was in it to win it, just like Chad. So thankfully, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. I'm not surprised by that because I wasn't sure how they were going to hold her on the counts of child abandonment, considering how they found him. But now they've got the new charges. Excellent. Yep, they might have gotten Lori's fingerprints off the evidence. Oh, Alexander, does it say that? Or are they speculating that? See, I'm going to have to dig into get these actual documents. The documents, I do not see them being posted yet, but I will get them as soon as they go live, and I will share them on the screen. Whew. Yes, it's possible that they got Lori's fingerprints, or it's possible just maybe they had her phone. I'm surely if they tracked Alex's phone, they are tracking Lori and Chad's phones as well. So can you imagine if we find out they were all there at Chad's yard that day, those 2 days? Can you imagine? Kat says, I'm glad that law enforcement is taking their time and locking down the case against all of them. Me too. I would rather this investigation take another year to be sure that these charges are airtight and those two never leave prison than have it go quickly and have it get messed up and technicalities and all that other stuff. That's a scary thought. Yep, Gulf Coast Grill, they did say they were going to be testing the plastic bags and the duct tape for evidence. So fingerprints is very, very likely. What about Summer and Lori's mom, let alone Zach? Summer, I don't have a lot of kind things to say about Summer and Janice Cox. Zach, I think, is fantastic. Adam Cox's son, Zach, is fantastic. So I like him a lot. Law enforcement served another warrant at Chad's house this morning. Yep. Yes, they did. So maybe they were looking for something in that search warrant that they found, which led them to being able to charge Lori with these charges. Huh. If the affidavit comes out, they should have the affidavit about these charges on Lori. Now, remember, we got the affidavit on Chad just, a day or two later? So, or I don't remember. My brain is oatmeal. I'm very sorry. I can't remember when we got this stuff. So we should be seeing the affidavit, the probable cause warrant on these charges for Lori. And as soon as we have that, we're going to know a whole lot more about what happened. Okay? This is going to be really big. It's probably going to be a little traumatic, but we'll go through it together. We'll go through every single line of that together as soon as it's out. I'm hoping they're just going to put it out tonight because why wait? It doesn't need to be sealed at this point. So if any of you guys are watching Court TV, know if they have the documents, please yell in all caps in chat because then I will do everything I can to go find the actual documents. Now, the charging documents, it's just going to say, probably the exact same thing Chad's did, I would assume. The probable cause affidavit is what I want to know. That's what we really want to see. Emily asks, can you imagine being on the jury in this case? I can't. They would not let me. They would not seat me. I would not get through voir dire on this case. Because I'd be like, nope, guilty, hang him. I would not make a good juror. Yep. And that's going to be an interesting question. How many people are they going to find that can be open-minded and deal with this case without any preconceived guilt idea in their head, you know? Penny Sue, maybe they found blood evidence, shell casing tools. It could be anything. It definitely could be. Now, one of the biggest things that I have a question about from Chad's affidavit is the text that he sent to Tammy saying on September 9th, 14 minutes after Alex left the property, saying that he was burning some tree limbs and he saw a raccoon and he had to shoot it and he buried it. My question is, why would he include the line about shooting and burying a raccoon unless he actually shot something that morning and needed a plausible story for why there was a gunshot? Or maybe he just added the gunshot thing to explain why he buried something. You know, we don't know. And there's no way to tell from that text what his intention was. But maybe that's what they were looking for. Maybe they were looking for a shell casing, or maybe they were looking for, a bullet hole somewhere or something. It could be. We have no idea. I'm totally speculating here. Please understand, this is speculation. So, but they did not find a dead raccoon in the pet cemetery. They found a cat and a dog. So there's something, Oh, man. Freudian slip with limbs. Yeah, woolly. Could certainly be. All future jurors will need psychological help. Bridget, I think some of the cases that we've covered, like on Paul's channel, I think those jurors should be automatically given psychological treatment after a trial like that. And I don't know if they are or not. I certainly hope they are. If not, that should be a law. Should totally be a law. I am still looking for updates to see if the documents are out. Let's see. The only documents I'm seeing are just the ones that we covered earlier from the custody filing. So still looking for anything about Lori's charges. I'm still having a lot of soda. I need some caffeine. My goodness. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. As soon as that the charging documents are released, that should be soon, because we knew we had Chad's charging documents, at least the actual charges, very quickly after he was arrested. So what did Brandon file? Laura, Brandon Boudreau filed some new documents for his upcoming custody battle. They have a hearing on July 1st between him and Melanie Pulowski. Hold on. Ooh, I get points for remembering to mute my microphone before I cough into it. So yeah, Brandon filed these new papers. Some of the evidence that he is going to present at the hearing. Basically, it is a sworn affidavit from a detective who cannot testify in person for whatever reason, saying that Melanie Pulowski is a person of interest in the disappearance of JJ and Tylee and their death. That's big news. Also that she is being investigated for the attempted shooting of Brandon. That's big news. So Melanie Pulowski is in big trouble. The documents also state that Melanie Pulowski told Melanie Gibb that 2 of her own children were zombies. That was a bombshell to me. Big bombshell. Also, now we know that Melanie Gibb knew about more zombies, even more children zombies, and still didn't run screaming to the police. So that just makes my opinion of Melanie Gibb even worse. I'm glad she's testifying to this. I'm glad she's on Brandon's side, but was she just sit there and let Melanie's children be killed too? Like, for real? Oh, I can't. I cannot with these people. If it was a raccoon before noon, why kill it? Why the sacred march from a spiritual? Yeah, who knows? I don't think there was a real raccoon killed, at least on that day, because they didn't find it. They would have found the raccoon when they dug up the pet cemetery. So the question is, was there a gunshot that day, or did he just put that into the story because he was weaving a story? That's something I want to know. So I still do not see any documents. Let me do some refreshing. But Lori has been charged with conspiracy to conceal or destroy evidence. Pretty much the same charges that we have on Chad so far. So excellent, excellent news. Felicia says, I don't know why Alex would do all the other killings and not JJ. Somehow I think JJ was still alive when Alex left him with Chad. That's the murder they're going to get him on. Felicia, that's possible. At this point, there are so many possibilities that I try not to let myself think about them too hard because they're terrifying. All of them are terrifying. You know? Jessica Watson says, well, maybe her conscience got her now, and she feels that by standing up for those kids, it will help her with how she didn't for the others. Maybe. And, good on her if that's the case. But I'm just glad that these children, we're not talking about this after those two other children were also killed. So let's thank God for that small favor in this mess. I'm pretty sure that the court is going to take care of Brandon and those kids. I really do. I hope so. They certainly have a lot to look at now. 6 people are dead that were connected to Chad and Lori and Melanie and Ian. That if that's not probable cause to let the dad have sole custody, I don't know what is. Whew. Alex wasn't there. Laura, that's the point. Alex was only there for what, 17 minutes? And the way that JJ was buried, from what we know in the affidavit, was rather intricate. He was buried under some wooden paneling and some flat stones and sod placed on top and all of that. You can't do that in 17 minutes, as far as I know. So, there's something there. Who else was there? Was it Chad? Was it Lori? Was it all of them? Was it Melanie? Was it Ian? Who was there? I think the police know, and I think we will find out in time. So, Yep, sole custody with a strict order of no contact. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me do another refresh and see if we've got any documents on Lori yet. That's Chad. Prosecutor Chad Daybell. Oh, that's just Chad's papers. We already know Chad's charges. Now remember, Chad's charges are specifically dated to the concealing or destruction of evidence for September 9th and September 23rd. So if they're charging Chad with destroying or concealing evidence on those 2 dates that we know Alex was at his property burying the children, obviously they think Chad was there too. So now if they're also charging Lori, but remember, Lori's charges are conspiracy to conceal or destroy evidence. So it's possible they think Lori knew, they talked about it, but maybe she wasn't physically there. I don't know. We're going to have to wait for the affidavit and find out. But I'm sure we will find out. Lisa asked, would Brandon ever trust Melanie? Why would he? Well, when they were first married, they look so happy. And even Brandon says they were really happy. They had a wonderful marriage. They had 4 beautiful children. And Melanie just kind of flipped out one day and said she wanted a divorce. So, I think Brandon, and Brandon, poor guy, his wife flips out, wants a divorce. Now he's got 4 kids. They try to kill him. And now he knows that his ex-wife thinks their kids are zombies. And we know what happens to zombies. Brandon has got to be losing his mind. Goodness gracious. Miss Wee Lassie says, I think Chad had already dug up the hole prior to Alex turning up. That's absolutely possible. He was a grave digger. Something happened. We'll get all the information eventually. But Alex couldn't have done that in 17 minutes in regards to JJ anyway by himself. So somebody else had to be there, or it had to be ready when he got there, which means the conspiracy. Because if it was prepared, somebody knew it was happening and somebody knew they needed to make that ready. So, there's that. Jessica says they all simultaneously flipped out and wanted either divorce or wanted them dead. Yeah, that's very odd timing. And it's not just Chad and Lori. Remember, Chad wanted Tammy dead. Lori wanted Charles dead. But Alex married Zulema. And Melanie left Brandon and married Ian. Melanie Gibb is not with her husband and children anymore. She's now with David Warwick. So all of these relationships went haywire in a very short period of time. That's not a coincidence, you know. Has Nate posted about the new search? Lisa, yes, he did. The story is on East Idaho News. Let me drop you a link. Actually, it was Eric Grossarth, who is another reporter from East Idaho News. He's a cutie patootie. I love Eric Grossarth. There's the article. You can find Eric Grossarth on Twitter at Eric Grossarth. Let me type it in case you don't know how to spell it. Grossarth. And there's also a link in the description of the video. All right, that's Eric Grossarth's Twitter. Yeah, Eric is a cutie. He's learning the ropes from Nate. He's doing a great job. So give him a follow on Twitter. He is the one who was live at the scene this morning while they were searching Chad's property again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone, I think Awen said they believe Chad said. I believe Chad set these couples up. I absolutely believe that. I have heard. All right, I'm going to give you a rumor. You know, I don't like to do rumors, but I'm looking into this. I have some digging to do, but it's possible that Ian Pulowski knew Melanie's mother. I'm not sure all the details of that. I really have to dig into it. It could not be true. Okay? But if he did, then their whole story of meeting on a dating app is kind of baloney, isn't it? That would be big if that's true. So that's going to take a lot of digging because I'm not sure what the origin of that was, if there's any documentation to prove that. But if there is, to me, that's a big deal. Okay? To me, that says what I've been thinking all along is Chad set all this garbage up. Chad set up Zulema and Alex. Why? Maybe Zulema had the moxie, he thought, to take Alex out. Possibly. You know, maybe Melanie needed Ian because Ian was on the inside and he would help facilitate the whole zombie story or whatever. You know, so yeah. Renee, hi, how are you doing? Thank you so much. She says, hi, Awen, you rock lady. I think Chad is rolling on her. Anytime things get real with the police, he gets nervous. You know, Renee, I had that same thought. He's been in custody. He's not a good guy in jail. I'm sure, you know, Chad is really unhappy and really displeased about being in there. He may be singing a little bit, or maybe Lori's singing, or who knows? Who knows? But everything will come out in the wash at the end of the day. But we're just going to get these little teeny pieces here and there, you know, which is really frustrating. It really is. So is Chad the mastermind? Georgia, I do not think Chad is the mastermind as such. I think Chad is the one who came up with the crazy ideas and belief system and wanted to write his happy little books. But I think the murder spree came from Lori. I don't think Chad was, if Chad had been left out to his own devices, I'm not sure he would have killed anyone. But you put the two of them together and you have such a toxic connection that it just exploded. You know, Chad is the leader of the spiritual side of things. He's the one who has the secret knowledge. He's the one who tells you, only I know these things because I get my information from the veil. You know, la, 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 la. So he promotes all of the crazy spiritual things and creates his spiritual stories to fit what he and Lori want. You know, the zombie thing. How convenient is it that they believe in zombies and think you have to kill the zombies to save the soul? Because that lets you get rid of anyone you don't like. You know what I mean? That really gives you an out as far as he's concerned. Certainly not legally. But I think Lori was all for the murdering. She was all for it. And they pushed each other. They're like you get two neodymium magnets and put them close enough, and then they will fly and smash into each other, and God forbid your fingers in the way, because that hurts. I've done that before. But that's what Chad and Lori are like. When you put the two of them together, the dastardly, devious things that they will get up to is so much worse than either one of them apart. You know, they feed on each other. It's a symbiotic growth of evil. That's all I can think of. Not to be weird and esoteric myself, but they're evil, and you put two evil things together and you get greater than the sum of its parts. So that is what I think of Chad and Lori together. But when we look at the cults, when we look at, I know everybody's throwing around the word narcissist and all this stuff. I'm still digging into that because, narcissism is my lane. That's my thing. But there's a lot of really weird things about Chad that kind of say yes and kind of say no. So I'm really digging into that. We're going to go over that hugely in depth at some point because that's my thing. But we're not quite there yet. I need some more information. Is Melanie actually pregnant or is it a trick? I don't know, Lisa. I've heard people say Melanie is pregnant. I haven't heard anything from Melanie or a doctor or anything like that. I don't know. Does she look pregnant? I don't know. Kind of. Maybe. So I have no idea if she's really pregnant or not. Awen, question. How many more of them do you think there are out there since you were in a vow? Alexandra, thousands. How many more do I think are as crazy as Chad and Lori and Melanie? Maybe not that many. But when you start looking into a vow and you start looking into the crazy prepper side of things and how many people in a vow go to all these preparing a people talks where all of these crazy authors, because Chad isn't the only crazy author. All right. He's not. There's Julie Rowe. She's got all kinds of crazy stuff. There's Hector Sosa. He's got all kinds of crazy stuff. There's Jason Mao. It goes on and on and on. It really goes on and on and on. And all of these particular authors have their own little followings. And then all their little followings come together for these big preparing a people events. And then you have an entire hotel full of crazy. And it spreads. It spreads like a virus. This is a pandemic of crazy. That's what I'm calling this. The crazy pandemic has nothing to do with COVID-19. It has more to do with crazy 19. Whew. Georgia says, being prepared is one thing, but this goes beyond that. Georgia, I totally agree. I am not opposed to the idea of prepping as such. Like when the COVID thing started, I ran out and bought a month's worth of everything. Every single thing I could need for a month so I could lock my door and not leave the house. I had it in here. I spent a lot of money, got all ready. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Preparing for the tribulations because it's the second coming in the end times, that's a little different. That's different. Some of the lengths that these preppers go to, building literal underground bunkers, that's a little different, So I don't think prepping is the problem. I think the motivation behind the prepping and what they plan to do as a result of these end times is scary. So, yeah. Lots of creeples. Leanne says, lots of crazy pandemic of creeples. That's what this is. I need to retitle the live stream. Crazy pandemic of creeples. We are in deep doo-doo, folks. The creeples are out. But yeah, there's some problems. July 22nd is coming. Now, my birthday is on July 29th. If the world ends on July 22nd, I'm going to be really angry. Right, because my husband is buying me the new Corsair backlit keyboard, the gaming keyboard for my birthday. And if I don't get it, because Lori and Chad were right, do you know what kind of temper tantrum I'm going to throw? You're going to think I'm a 6-year-old child. I will have a huge temper tantrum if I don't get my birthday. So, oh, Lindsay, that's your son's birthday too? Awesome. Leos. Yay. Go Leos. Hold on, I'm trying to scroll back. Somebody asked a question. Awen, you are right. In court, they will say God told them to do all this. Yeah, they can try that. Thankfully, that won't work in a court of law. So let them say that. And a lot of people ask about the insanity defense. They can't. They can't. Whether the insanity defense is even allowed in Idaho, people are still yelling about that both ways. But even if they wanted to try an insanity defense, it can't work because they clearly knew what they were doing. When you're trying to have an insanity defense, you have to say, you didn't realize it was wrong. You didn't know what you were doing was wrong. You thought it was a good thing. But the fact that they hid the bodies, they lied to police, they ran, they asked other people to lie for them, right there, you knew what you were doing was wrong. So nice try. Don't even try it. We'll see what they say. Yes, pandemic of creeples. And I don't know if there's a vaccine for this one. Oh man, definitely not a vaccine. All right, let's check again, see if we've got any more documents on Lori. Let's see. No, we just, what is this? A stipulation for prelim hearing. Yeah, whatever. We know that. Yeah, Chad's preliminary hearing was moved until August 3rd and 4th. Lori's is scheduled for July 9th. I don't think that's going to happen. And I've been saying that since Chad got arrested. I say these court dates are going to get changed. There's going to be new charges. They're going to have to be deferred and all that. So I don't think we're going to see Lori in court on the 9th. If we do, I'll bring it to you live, of course, but I don't think that's going to happen. Justin says law enforcement had confirmed in March that Melanie P is pregnant. Okay, thank you, April. All right, good. So now we have confirmation that Melanie Pulowski is pregnant. So imagine going to court and the court hearing all of this stuff. She thinks her own kids were zombies. She's being investigated in relation to JJ and Tylee's death. She's being investigated as the attempted murder of Brandon. What's going to happen when she gives birth to that child? You know, that's Ian's child, presumably. Maybe it's not. We don't know. But what is Ian going to do? You know? What is Ian? What do you guys think about Ian? Do you think Ian is in on this cult stuff 100%? Or do you think he's just over the moon in love with Melanie but doesn't like the cult stuff and trying to get out of it? What do you think about Ian? I'm on the fence with Ian. Sort of on the fence. I would like to see Ian run. Yes, I would. Yeah, Kelly, I'm kind of like 60-40 because for him to still be with her at this point kind of says he's got to believe in it to some degree, you know? But if he knows that she's pregnant with his child, maybe he doesn't want to leave because he wants to take care of the child and make sure the child is safe. I don't know. But it's hard to tell. He has a very flat affect in his interviews. His tone of voice is just kind of like, na, 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 na. It's hard to really get a feel on where his head is. If he's not into the cultist junk, he'll go to court for custody. Yep. Yes, he will. Ian could be afraid for his life, Teresa. Absolutely. He's seen, now we have a trail of 6 people already dead. And if he speaks out against them, he could think he's next. So he could be afraid of being a single father. Yep. Ian's in it. Yeah, when you read Ian's document that he left on the laptop, it seems like Ian thinks it's all really crazy, but towards the end of that document, he seems to rationalize it away a lot. Like he's kind of accepted it. So, I think that's a problem. He's afraid of Jason Mao. Yeah, Missy, we're all afraid of Jason Mao. He's scary. Oh. Any husband handpicked by Chad won't leave and behave so as not to become a targeted zombie. Leanne, that's a really good point. Very good point. If for Melanie G, it's not okay to get a divorce, but very okay to pass away in order for a couple to be together, how many married friends she was couching who was in the same situation? Oh, yeah, that's a good question, too. If her claim that she didn't know about the shooting attempt on Brandon until after the fact, why were they so sure she'd share the insurance money with Lori and Chad? Good question. And Melanie Molina says, I absolutely think that he is 100% involved in it and has been pretending this whole time. That's quite possible. I mean, he did tell his wife, Melanie Pulowski, that he was wearing the wire for the police and he'd been talking to the police. So, would you do that if you didn't really believe her? Probably not. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that point to Ian being accepting of these beliefs, Please have a countdown to court for Lori and Chad, please. A countdown? like a daily video with a countdown. I could do something like that. The next court date that's going to be important is July 1st, which is Brandon and Melanie's custody battle. That's important in regards to JJ and Tylee's death because a lot of information is going to come out in there that is material to Chad and Lori's cases. So we're going to pay attention to that. Lori's hearing would be scheduled for July 9th after that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be changed now, especially in light of her new charges today. So it might be a while before we get an actual hearing. I'm going to have to wait and see. All right, what is this? I have something from Deseret News. Judge agrees to remove himself. Well, that's from March 2020. What do we need that for? Never mind that. Sorry. Old news. Yep, nothing new on the documents yet. I'm pretty sure that we're going to get at least the charges either tonight or tomorrow morning. Let's see. Yeah, to anyone in chat, if you don't know like how these live chats work, anyone with a blue name, with a wrench after name, those are the moderators on the channel, and only moderators can drop links in chat. Right? That prevents people from spamming or putting malicious links in. So all of their links are verified. They know they're safe, and they're dropping them there for you for research, for news articles, for ways you can get in touch with me, like our Discord server. We have a blooming Discord server where I'm putting all of the documents I find in this case. You can read them all at your leisure. A lot of discussion. You can go in there and talk about the case all day long if you want. So Discord is the place to be. And if we have a Sofa Squad emergency and need to get everyone together, that's the place to find out. Oh, yes, thank you to all the mods. They are dropping all the links tonight. Anything you can need. And if there's something you need a link for, a research article or whatever, just yell and one of us will find it for you. Shannon says Ian is still with her, so he's on her side. Yep, he is. Get Paul on back up. Paul is currently recording a video, I think, and doing some editing. But he is aware. He doesn't know about the charges on Lori, though. Paul, wake up. I should call him. Actually, you know what? I should try to get him to come on. Let me see if he's still awake. It might be too late. Where's Paul? Paul. Lori, come on the live and talk. Let me see. All right, I asked him. Get him a link to StreamYard. Let's see if we can get Paul. Oh, yeah, he might come. I gave him a link. All right, he says, hold on. All right, Paul's going to come play with us. Woohoo! I love it when Paul comes to play. Rachel Clark, thank you so much. Here's my bet that you will get your keyboard. Rachel, thank you. You think I'm safe to make it to July 29th? We're not all going to disappear on the 22nd. Thank you very much. Oh, goodness. Yeah, let's get Paul in here and let him know about the new charges. I don't know if he even knows about those yet. So let's see what he thinks. I do love hearing what Paul has to say because he says it in a way that just makes it all seem better somehow. Oh, I just got here. What new charges? Kelly, Lori Vallow has been charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to conceal or destroy evidence. All right, so the same charges as Chad, but a conspiracy version. All right, so they're not saying that she herself destroyed or hid evidence, but that she conspired with other people for the evidence to be hidden or destroyed. So, well, take that as we can for now. At least it's something. So we're getting into this now with Lori. So she has been implicated in the destruction or concealment of the children's remains, which, is that a big surprise? No, not at all. But now we have the formal charges at least. So that is good. Lori is a planner, but doesn't like to get her hands dirty. Exactly. She had Alex do all of her dirty work, So is my hubby Welsh too? No, my husband is English. He is from Cumbria in northwest England. And I believe most of his heritage is all English or British. So that's him. Not English guy. All right, I am watching for Paul. See if he's going to come play with us. That would be really cool. Hi, sweetie. How are you? Grace Naomi, hi there. I didn't see you come in. Hello. Oh, here's Paul. Here's Paul. Here's Paul. Here's Paul.
Hello.
Oh my God. Hi.
How are you?
Oh my God. News. Oh my God.
What
Big news.
I saw new charges on Lori. I was like, oh my God, let me get to the computer.
Lori has just been charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to destroy or conceal evidence.
Okay.
So,
oh
not
my
big
goodness.
murder, but what do you think?
This is amazing. So, do you think so? Catch me up here. I know that they've been doing the search warrant at the house, at Chad Daybell's house. Is this? Do we have information about this correlating? Like, where's all this stuff coming from?
All right, we have a lot happened in the last couple hours. They searched the house. They still have not told us what was in the search warrant. We know that they did remove a couple bags of evidence. Right. We don't know if that is what led to these charges or if these charges were coming anyway. But the biggest thing, remember the documents I linked you from Brandon, the court filing for the custody, that Melanie Boudreau thought 2 of her own children were zombies.
Pardon me. Yeah, those documents right there. Oh my God. I could not believe what I was reading. It all makes sense in the way that it can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The level of crazy amongst these people.
It's not something we see often.
No. I mean, amongst the whole crew. And you know what else I was... Okay, so on that note, and now I barely started reading these today, so I can't really speak to them a whole bunch or whatever. Was the court documents from Melanie's mom and dad's separation. Does that make sense how I'm saying it?
Yes. Yep. I read those as well.
Okay. So reading, like seeing that trajectory, you know what I'm saying? Of like, okay, here's this and this. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. It is absolutely mind-boggling.
Yep. And we look at, you see, like what you said from Steve and Stacy's issues and the custody battle for Melanie. You see a deep psychological issues there, and now you're seeing them in Melanie. For someone to believe their kids are zombies, you have to have something not right upstairs. I'm sorry.
100%.
Just period, So is this like a hereditary thing that we're seeing? Because Alex, Lori, Stacy, they're all siblings. Melanie's one of the children. It's like, oh, how deep does that go?
Oh, completely. And in fact, hold on, give me 1 second because I want to pull that up just so I can kind of read through that part again. Please hold. Where were we talking when you sent that to me? Oh, here it is. Never mind. I found it. Please hold. Oh, wait, here it is. Okay, so I just want to read through this real quick and to kind of catch myself up here, but I'll do it aloud or whatever. So what I'm talking about is the Boudreau case, the thing you sent me from Justin Lom, Fox 10 Phoenix. So, he just filed a few responses in the custody battle with Melanie Pulowski, Lori Vallow's niece. Here are Justin Loom's takeaways from the new documents. Pages 1 through 3 show an affidavit of Gilbert PD Detective Ryan Pillar. He's investigating the murder attempt of Boudreau from October 2nd. And the affidavit, he calls Pulowski a person of interest and not a suspect in the case. Which this, to me, I just keep waiting around for this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, mark my words, I know. I just feel like all these crazies are going to be charged in a variety of ways when this is all said and done. That's just my 2 cents. Let me continue. Okay, hold on 1 second. Pillar says Boudreau never kept his or his children's whereabouts from law enforcement. In October, Boudreau was informed that there were concerns over his and his kids' safety. The day after the shooting, Pillar made contact with Pulowski to let her know what happened. On October 16th, Pillar says Pulowski contacted him regarding her kids, but never again after that. Now, that is very telling. Right there. I think that's very interesting. Because remember this line, I'm loving them from a distance. And I'm just like, yeah, that's a big distance there, Melanie. Okay. page 4 in the Post, Boudreau cites Madison County Prosecutor Rob Wood, who is a special prosecutor in both Lori and Chad's case. He said Wood calls Pulowski a person of interest and other felonious acts, as well as the disappearance of J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, who are both now dead. Wow.
That's big to me. That's big. They think she has some involvement in JJ and Tylee's death.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of these things where, I hope it's right, because I'm going to speak for myself here, and I'm probably speaking for a lot of people, but I'm not putting words in everybody's mouth. I mean, y'all, something ain't right with that girl. And I'm sorry if she had some stuff go on. I get it, but that doesn't excuse any of the stuff that she has done and sat by and watched happen. Looking into this beliefs that all these people go down into and whatnot. I mean, this is crazy town. This is wackadoodle out there crazy stuff. It's made up, is what it is. I mean, it's made. It's not even a religion. You know what I'm saying?
It's so crazy that I actually had to make up a new word to describe these people. We're just calling them creeple. These creeples.
Creeples.
There's no word that covers it. It's too crazy.
It is 100% crazy. It is 100% crazy. And hello to everybody in the room who's saying hello to me. It's good to see y'all here. Okay, hold on. Let's keep going. Please hold.
Yeah, we need a drink. This is crazy. Oh.
Okay, so next part. Important to know, there's a prosecution ordered petition by Natalie Pulowski against her ex-husband, Ian. That's Melanie's new husband. The order protects their 2 kids, and Ian can only have supervised parenting time, which even that scares me, to be quite honest. Even that scares me. I mean, I just feel like, you know what? Somebody needs to be there watching. You know what I'm saying? The whole time. They don't need to be left alone. Anyways. Documents say since the renewed protection order on 6/5, Ian has not had any contact with his kids. Thank God. I mean, because I'm sorry, I don't know if he's been brainwashed. I don't know if he transported into some other being. I don't know what happened to Ian or whatever, but he ain't right either, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
I mean, no.
All right, Linda's telling me to check new charges for Lori Vallow. More to come. All right, what's happening? I haven't seen anything new. Tell me. I can't watch Court TV while we're live, obviously. But something new happened? They have the affidavit or charging documents or something? What's going on?
I mean, this is going to be interesting. Hold on. I'm just kind of reading the chat room right now to see if what people are saying about something new came in. Oh, I can't wait to find out what they found at the house.
I'm going to go check in on Court TV.
It's the same as earlier.
Rabbit. See what they got going.
Culturally, those have eccentric views. The chicks why actually another than I don't know. People are saying that. Which to the Smith, I was it. Yeah. I mean, whew.
Yeah, I don't see anything new on Court TV other than the charges that we've just been talking about. So I'm keeping my eye on it. I got all my tweet decks open. I got everything open. So
dun, dun, dun.
We're gonna watch
all this. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be crazy.
What were we saying today?
That everything just happened.
Like we were talking about Julie, and you said, I'm kind of afraid to look under that rock because as soon as I do, there's like 100 more rocks to look under.
I mean, and ain't it the damn truth with this?
It is.
I mean, oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I have literally riled myself up watching Julie Rowe stuff this afternoon. And I finally got enough to where I was like, I've got enough to make what I want to make, the video I want to make about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, I can't take any more of her. It's so bad. It's just like, it's blasphemous. And I don't use that word. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And again, watching her, even though she's in here trying to talk about, almost like she's contradicting things like, oh no, well, what's Chad, they're distancing themselves from Chad stuff, whatever. Well, I mean, right beneath that, I mean, you just listen to the stuff that she's trying to sell, and that's the main key word in her stuff is sell, because everything is a damn infomercial with her. But outside that, it's just like, what? I mean, it doesn't even make sense, the stuff she's talking about. Doesn't even make sense. Wait, Julie Rowe bodyguard is the Mao guy. Wait, Jason Mao, are you saying that that's Julie Rowe's bodyguard?
Huh.
That's scary.
That is scary. Jason Mao is someone that I think everyone needs to pay attention to. Not only for the rhetoric and propaganda that he promotes through his books and the preparing of people talks and all of that, but also his marriage to violence.
Oh, really?
It's scary. Every picture he posts is him with a giant rifle, and or he dresses up in his Captain Maroney costume and goes prancing through the woods. So there's crazy, but there's crazy and violent, and you put the two together, that's when it gets scary.
Very, very scary. Yeah. Oh Lord. Yeah, I haven't gone down the rabbit hole on him except for really what you've told me in a little bit. Because it's just, again, the rabbit hole doesn't stop, because what I find is you find a cell of people that go off into this left-hand tangent, and it goes into its own thing. This is what I think, because first of all, what we've seen is all of these people clamor to the spotlight, trying to, fight, you know what I'm saying, and try to get attention and whatnot from this case, basically launching a place, what do you call it, launching not a career, but a launching pad for their product, their book, their podcast, whatever it is. And I think that we're going to see new followers start following some of these people. For example, Melanie Gibb, I think she's trying to make a platform for herself. I'm sure there are people out there that are going to lap that up. Julie Rowe, I think, already had a thing going. I think there'll be people out there lapping that up. Excuse me. So I just think we're going to see a lot of that. And we need to keep our eyes on those people moving forward, because I think they're all very dangerous.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we were talking about earlier before you came on, is how many people are still out there promoting these thoughts and beliefs, and they're still pushing the same thing. It didn't end with Chad and Lori. There's a lot more of them out there, and now knowing that even Melanie Pulowski thinks her own kids were zombies, how many more people out there are running around calling people zombies? How many more deaths are we going to have to look at before this stops?
Well, and I mean, just the fact that they're okay with it. I mean, that's what blows my mind, because it's always like a matter of convenience. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that's in the way. I mean, when life doesn't go your way, it doesn't mean you're a damn zombie. You know what I mean? Like, and then that person has to transition, we'll say.
Right.
And yeah, okay, so Carol, you said that you hate that Nancy Grace is having Julie Rowe again. And today's the first day that I watched her little Nancy Grace thing. And I was sitting here and I said, I can't believe even Nancy Grace is going along with this. Usually my perception of what I remember her, now I haven't really paid attention to Nancy Grace in like years. But I mean, I was surprised she was going along with the story that Julie Rowe was selling. You know what I'm saying? It was just, and while I agree with, like, because Nancy was saying, like, look, there seems to be a pattern of predatorial behavior on Chad's part towards women. I mean, hello, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, do I think it really happened with Julie? I mean, who knows? You know what I'm saying? I don't believe anything that has come out of her mouth. It's just, it's a level of insanity that I can't get around. But Nancy just kind of almost, I would love to know what Nancy told her family about the things Julie was saying she believed in. I mean, I just can't imagine that she took that serious at all.
Yep. So a lot of people are talking about the updates. Court TV is reporting that Lori Vallow was charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to conceal and destroy evidence, the same charges as Chad. As soon as they release the actual charging documents, I'm sure that we're going to see that they have the same dates on them as Chad's does, which were very specific. September 9th, September 23rd. That's how we knew they thought they found the children right away as soon as we saw those dates. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be happening. As soon as the documents are posted, I will show them to you as soon as we get it.
Man
alive.
I mean, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Well, at least we got these charges on them. I mean, I don't think these people are ever leaving jail. I pray not. They don't need to be. I don't think they will ever get out of jail, prison, wherever they're going to end up at. And I just think they're going to keep adding charges.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. This is, I mean, I think they're doing it in very smart stages. You know, let's get them on the conspiracy to conceal or destroy evidence with, you know, the hiding of the remains. Let's start there. They're still waiting for more forensics. They said a couple weeks before all the testing comes back. And then I think we're going to see the big charges. Because, you know, if they've got Alex's phone tracked to know the minute that he was on and off that property, they know where Chad's was. They know where Lori's was. They know where Melanie's was. They know all that stuff.
Yeah.
They're not telling us because we don't need to know that yet, you know.
Yeah.
But we're going to see it. We're going to see it. And they know. And that's what's important. I would rather them take 6 more months to bring charges so they build their case airtight than have them rush it and have it get off on a technicality or something. So.
Well, I mean, it's just, and again, there's going to be so much different evidence because there's so many different people, you know, involved in it, and everybody has this different, you know, I mean, it's just insane now that the truth is coming light. And that's the whole thing. Just like we saw with Letitia Stalk, same as we're seeing with this, where everyone's gut was basically right. Like, you know what, something's not sitting right, whatever. Well, the cops clearly, once we saw what came out, they knew way more, you know, but of course they can't come out there and say that, you know, to preserve the case, obviously. Same with this. I mean, it's like, oh, wow. Okay. So they had this evidence before everything popped off. Okay. You know, wow. And I think it'll only get worse because I mean, I just can't see how they're not going to implicate what's her name, Lori and Chad. I mean, this is going to be a crazy trial.
It is. If this goes to trial, if they plead not guilty and this actually goes to trial, I'm going to need a prescription of some kind to get through that. You know, I'm telling you, this is insanity where things like you see in movies or something, you don't normally see this. We were talking about Andrea Yates earlier. Remember how she killed her children because she was having the delusions that they were devils and all this stuff. And we can understand that with one person. You know, you see the mental illness, you see how bad it got and how it was untreated, and you can at least wrap your head around how that happened. It's different in this case when there are so many people operating under the same delusion that let 6 people so far die. You know, it's very hard to get your head around that because you're like, somebody should have stood up and said no at some point. They really just went on with this. How could that have happened? So, yeah.
When they're all trying to back away from it right now, and it's like, just like, what's her name? Melanie Gibb. I'm just like, oh no, you were at the damn house when it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was staying there with them. You know, and she's just trying to back away from this. And I just am like, no, I don't believe this at all. I think she was she was completely complicit, and okay with it. Because they all believed it. Yeah. You know, I mean, they just were all going down that rabbit hole. And what's interesting too, so, you know, and again, I'm not versed in, let's say, the origins of, like, if they're taking some stuff from, you know, scriptures or whatever from this religion and going down another path. I mean, I'm not familiar with any of it. You know, listen to the little bit of Julie Rowe trying to talk. And again, I don't really give her much credit or listen to anything. But I mean, this whole zombie thing, you know, is coming from, no matter whether it's watered down or not, it's still really bizarre. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Julie's like, oh no, it's like they're taken over by an unclean spirit, but I don't call them zombies. And yeah, I'm just like, what is this? You know, I mean,
All you can say is, what? What?
Yeah, it's just like, what? I mean, what? Can we just say that maybe people have issues in life? Maybe just for that. Like, I mean, why does it have to be so crazy?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
We talked before about what can you imagine being Melanie Gibbs sitting with law enforcement and telling them about zombies? Because she explained exactly how it works. It's in the affidavit. So, it's the unclean spirit. They can only be killed this way. The spirit is disembodied. It's a yada, yada. She gave them all the details about how the zombie thing works. Can you imagine what's going to happen on cross-examination with her on the stand?
That's true. Oh, I mean, she's going to sit up there like a jackass. Mm-hmm. I mean, plain and damn simple. Plain and simple. So, yeah, God, I hope we could see him 2 feet in it. Oh my gosh. I would really love to see this interviews. I would love to see if what's her name, Lori, actually has anyone she can Skype with from jail or whatever you call it. I'd love to see those.
Yep. You have to assume all of that stuff is recorded, and if it's pertinent, it'll come out at trial, and we will get to see all. I got to tell you though, if this trial isn't televised, I need to move to Idaho for the duration. I could not live through it if I couldn't see this trial. So that may have to happen.
Hey, Linda. How are you doing? I see now. I hope all is well. Yeah, if they don't televise it, I mean, it's literally worth relocating. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I can't wait. But also the whole thing about it too is they're going to all be so hungry to get up there and talk and talk and talk and talk, about everything. It's just going to be so exhausting.
It is. It is going to be exhausting. It's already exhausting, and we're still doing background research. I've only been really doing this case since June 4th, and I still feel like I only know the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. And if all this comes out at trial, man, we are going to be in the courtroom for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
For real.
Well, and then for each of them, I mean, my gosh, I almost feel like, what is her name? Melanie Gibb either cooperated or, out. Because how like there's some things where they come up and they're basically like, okay, yeah, we might be able to get them as being complicit, but their information is worth more than that. Right. So I feel like Melanie might have fallen into a category like that. I mean, we'll see. And I'm talking about Melanie Gibb. I'm sorry. Now, Melanie Pulowski, I don't know. I don't believe anything she said either. It made no sense, especially when more and more info came out. She wants to talk about how close she was to, what's his name? Alex, and Lori and all these people. But she's living there. She doesn't see the kids. She doesn't really talk to Lori. I mean, you can tell she's lying. So it's obnoxious.
It is, definitely. I'm just refreshing all my tweets and news people to see if we've got any documents yet. Nothing yet. I'm assuming we're going to get the probable cause affidavit like we got for Chad, but we're going to see one for Lori. Now, there's going to be a lot of new information in that. We're probably going to have some of Lori's phone pings, where she was, maybe her discussions with Alex or Chad about how to do what they did. So as soon as we get that, that's going to be a whole nother 2 or 3 hour live stream to go through that line by line. But
100%.
I'm also a little scared about it because, how much more information do we actually want to know about what happened to those kids? I think that document's going to have a lot of it, and it's filling in all the puzzle pieces, and it's going to be a very ugly scene.
100%. Because I mean, like you said, it was already kind of shocking. When we found out the little bit we did from the other one about the horrific end that the children met. Now, when we start to see more people's involvement, because I mean, my God, what if we can see through the thing on Lori where it was like say it implicates Melanie Pulowski even more. You know what I mean? From like what she's been saying. If it was like, oh, well, we sure the lawyer was hanging out with Melanie Pulowski, you know, or whatever during this time. And it's like, oh, okay. I just feel like something like that's going to go down where we just are going to begin to write. I mean, I guess part of me always sits there and wonders, like, what did Alex? I'm going a little bit, you know, off on a, you know, imaginary thing here, but I'm like, how did Alex look those kids in the eyes? Like, what did he say to them? I mean, that was their uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. How do you just turn on a dime like that? It just blows my mind. I can't wrap my mind around it.
It's very hard to even try. And the only thing that I can think is that Alex genuinely believed that the only way to save them was to kill them, you know. But then again, Alex didn't think Joseph Ryan was a zombie when he attacked him in 2007 and he was trying to kill him, you know. You know, it's just, and he shot Charles in cold blood. So, you know, Alex is obviously not the sanest person around either.
No. Mm-mm. No.
But
let's see. Yeah, and I think definitely it's going to be. I mean, the obvious defense tactic should be blaming it on Alex, you know, on some fashion, or pure intent. I don't see any defense they could come up with, you know. But I think that they're going to try and go for that. I mean, what else would you say? Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, Chad can't really say anything. I mean, my God, the evidence is so damning. You know, for visionaries and stuff, I mean, my God, they did not predict any of this. I mean, they were very clumsy, but I don't think they cared either. You know what I mean? I really just think they looked at it like they were doing these kids a favor, and they were, you know, they were fine with it, you know, and they were just like, look, the world's ending anyway soon. Who cares?
Yep. Yeah. A lot of people are saying in chat, you know, Court TV it's in the ticker. If you look at the bottom of the video, there's a ticker going across there. It lists the charges right there. So they're spelled out so we can all see. We got it. One thing, Paul, that I said earlier that I think you'd have an interesting take on. Melanie Gibb says that Melanie Pulowski told her 2 of her kids were zombies. How come we haven't heard that before? How come Melanie Gibb never alluded to that in any of her interviews or letters? How come she wasn't at that point jumping up and down, screaming from the rooftops, help, help, somebody help. They think more kids are zombies.
Yeah.
You know, does that make her look more guilty in your eyes?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Oh, completely. I mean, again, didn't Melanie abandon her own damn family? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is just what they do. They all hook up with whoever they're supposed to be sealed with or whatever they want to call that. They want to just, I mean, it is what it is. They want to get rid of their family and they have to warp it in their minds that the family is the issue. The children are the issue. The husband is the issue. So they can go do what they want to do. And, excuse me. And yeah, I mean, I just think it all makes her look more guilty. You know, and I think too, because she believed it, because I mean, look, I mean, bless her heart, you know, I mean, you could sell her a bridge from Brooklyn any day of the week. I mean, this one is not operating on all, you know, cylinders over there. So she's going to believe anything you tell her, you know, and that's just how it is. And it's pretty pathetic, you know. I mean, it's just, you know, it's sad. I mean, these people are out functioning, adulting, you know, and buying into this stuff. And the self-deception, they all want to talk about being deceived. Being deceived is a huge thing to these people. Honestly, it probably happens all day long, every day for them. I mean, my God. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they probably don't get out their door 5 feet before they get ripped off and robbed and all sorts of shit. You know, I mean, it's what's going to happen to people like this. So they all talk about this, but they never address their self-deception. You know, the blinders they put onto this just stupid stuff, you know, and this criminal stuff. And that's just what, you know, there's no accountability at all. None at all. It's shocking to me.
It is. And people are asking if Melanie Gibb has a lawyer. We don't know that. We certainly haven't seen any filings, any court documents with her and a lawyer's name. She said to Nate that she didn't need a lawyer because God was on her side and she was going to speak the truth. That's a whole level of delusion right there.
Oh, completely.
Hopefully she does have a lawyer, but if she doesn't, well, she could just get her orange outfit on now. Get ready,
I can only imagine how, and those poor people in the jail stuck with them, a captive audience, because Lori, Chad, I bet now. See, Chad probably has dropped his little act because he knows he's in trouble and he's staying real quiet. Lori and them, they're probably preaching up a damn storm, bugging everyone. The CEO sits down for a second. They're over there talking. Melanie Gibb, for sure, she's in there. I mean, she's just, the little Miss Messiah.
Yep. She craves that leadership role. She craves being the guru, being the teacher. And if she can get herself out of this situation by, turning as much as she can, then she'll just take over and she'll be the new cult leader.
Yeah.
And that's what she wants.
Oh, so. Exactly. So hungry for that attention. I mean, it's like hug your children, because this is what happens when you don't. They go run into all this BS looking for attention, and just, I mean, it really just pisses me off, to be honest. I mean, it really gets under my skin. It really does. And I mean, yeah. And so, Dee, how are you doing? You say, oh, Lori has good old Mark Means. I mean, all the way to the attorneys involved in it. It's like, where do you people get this stuff? I mean, where are these people getting all this stuff from, and all their, associates? It's a laughing stock.
Right, I do have a little bit of news, a little bit of breaking news, sort of.
Go on. What is that?
And this is something that might open a can of worms, but East Idaho News, Eric Grossarth, who I think is a cutie patootie, and I follow every word he says that East Idaho News cannot at this time officially confirm if additional charges have been filed against Lori Daybell. They're checking court records to see if anything breaks. So the only source that we have of the new charges is Court TV. I hope they're not making that up. I hope they're not. I've already had issues with some of the stuff they've said recently, but East Idaho News is trying to confirm that. As soon as they have confirmation, I will let you know. But for now, again, here's something else we have to take with a grain of salt.
Oh, Lord.
My goodness. They better not be just saying that. Jeez Louise.
Well, what was it that happened recently that took place with what's his name, and he had to say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that," or what I'm talking about? So they might be being like extra careful right now.
Yeah, they could be. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just to be like, oh, Lord. I mean, my gosh.
Mm. Yep. So, well, that's what happens with breaking news. So that allegedly she has the new charges. We'll certainly find out, pretty quickly. So there's no reason for those to be sealed. So they should be able to get the documents if this actually happened. If it didn't happen, I'm going to be angry.
I'm for real.
Oh, it's hard to cover things like this live because you have to you assume, Court TV would be accurate in their reporting, but nobody else is saying that. Justin Lum, Nate Eaton, Eric Grossarth, East Idaho News, nobody else is reporting these charges. Nobody but Court TV. So there you go, folks.
Yeah, that's always like, where's damn TMZ when you need them? I mean,
exactly.
I'm surprised they're not paying. Well, they might be paying Lori or Chad to tell them themselves and give insider information. You can always tell, like, when TMZ puts something out there, like they're paying like the paramedic on the scene, or you know what I'm saying? Like they got like that insider information, like the employee going out the back door being like, "Look, this is what's going on. This is what just popped off." This is what's going on. Let's see here. Yeah. I know it. Well, what's her name's thing today? Julie Rowe thing where she was talking about, well, I am excommunicated. I was like, well, that's shocker. You don't say. I mean, imagine that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the chat is talking about the Mormon Church and what's going on with them. Julie Rowe herself said that she was excommunicated from the church, so we know that's a fact. There is talk that Chad was excommunicated, but there's nothing verifiable. Like, they don't put out documents saying that he was, excommunicated with a date on it. But the LDS Church is not part of this, all right? Even though Chad and Lori and all these other people were Mormon, they went off the rails, right? It's an offshoot. It's a cult. They have crazy extremist beliefs that do not reflect the teachings of the church. So just keep that line of separation in your head. We do talk about the origins of the beliefs and the fact they were Mormon and all this other stuff, but that's neither here nor there, really. But the church itself is not involved in this. So.
Yeah. No, they're definitely like, we don't know them.
Someone wonders if Julie Rowe will testify against Chad. That's a good question. And one of the reasons that I question all of these people going on TV, like Melanie Gibb and Julie Rowe, giving all their statements, even Melanie and Ian, don't they realize that anything they say in those interviews can be brought up in court? Where are their lawyers?
Well, it completely. Now, I think some of them, Julie Rowe especially, if she testifies, I mean, she'll have a little book stand next to the damn witness stand selling off books, signing autographs out back. I mean, everything I've seen her on, I mean, she's just like, I'm writing a book on that. I honestly think that these people, and like Chad, her, all these people, I envision them like scribbling a book down on a piece of toilet paper. And they can pump these books out 5 a day, because it's just, they don't seem like there's much to them, and everything's about money.
Yep, definitely. I'm just going to edit the ticker to reflect maybe, because we don't really know about the new charges.
Oh, yeah. Theresa, I bet the lawyers are loving this. There's going to be so many books coming out about this. Melanie Gibbs, it's already, I mean, she probably wrote 5 books about it already. Part 1.
Oh, I don't have a way to fix that. I'm just going to take that off there for now until we know for sure. Just in case. Yeah, that's what I just did. Yeah. Dave just passed me notes like, you should fix the banner because if we don't know about the chart. I was like, yeah, I just did. It's okay. I got this. I'm on it. I got this, man. So, but to recap the news, Rexburg police executed a search warrant at Chad Daybell's home this afternoon, looking for stuff. We don't know what they were looking for. Rob Wood, the special prosecutor overseeing the case, would not tell us what they were looking for. We do know they removed some bags, but we don't know what was in them. So we have no idea what they found. And then later today, we got the custody papers from Brandon Boudreau, which allege a couple of really explosive things. Melanie Pulowski is a person of interest in JJ and Tylee's death investigation, and she is being investigated for the attempted shooting of Brandon Boudreau. So that's big. But also that Melanie Gibb is going to testify that Melanie Pulowski said 2 of her children were zombies. So that kind of blew my mind a little bit. My goodness, scary stuff. And then it's quite possible, we don't know for sure yet, but it's possible that Lori Vallow Daybell has been charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to conceal or destroy evidence. So that's all the news. That's a lot of news.
That's a lot of news. We've been sitting around waiting for something to happen. I mean, my goodness gracious.
Yep. Has anyone locate C. Vallow friend with post-mortem text interview? Oh, Lay, I think that was in one of the Dateline episodes. I haven't gotten around to finding that today. That was my plan for today, but I got waylaid by all this news. But yeah, a friend of Charles Vallow looked at his phone after Charles had died and found a series of text messages from Charles talking about Lori and all the craziness. And I believe that he showed them on an interview with Keith Morrison, I think. I don't remember where I saw it. I'm going to guess his Dateline. I just haven't had time to go through the episodes yet and look for it. So.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Something will pop off tomorrow. Meaning, I mean, not that it hasn't already, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I imagine they're going to come out like, we're going to be doing a press conference. This is what we found.
Well, if these charges on Lori are accurate and they did happen, then we should get the charging document and hopefully the probable cause affidavit, which is going to be a just minefield of new information.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and we are still waiting on Tammy's death investigation. They did announce in April that they're looking at Chad and Lori for Tammy's death, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted murder. So there's a lot coming down the road for these two. Mm-hmm.
Oh, completely. I can't. Let me tell you what. When they come up talking about here's the info on Tammy Daybell stuff, I mean, I'm gonna break the internet getting to it. I mean, I'm just like, I'm so invested.
Yep. I want to see. Now, they told us a lot of Alex's phone pings of when the children disappeared and when they were buried in the yard. Where was his phone on October 19th when Tammy died? You know, that's what I want to know. So that'll be interesting to find. And you know they know it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, completely. I mean, also, I'm very curious to see the information, like you were saying, on Lori's pings, Melanie's pings, you know, all the stuff around the time when the children, you know, when that day. I really feel like we're going to get some shocker information like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we kind of already know this. Our guts are telling us, you know, stuff isn't right, you know, and so far the things that we're seeing isn't right or it's coming true. And this is just another layer to it.
Yep. Like Zelda says, and where was Alex's phone when Tammy was shot? Where was it when Brandon was shot? You know, where was his phone? Because obviously, if he's dumb enough to bring it with him when he goes to bury bodies, he's dumb enough to have it with him when he goes to try and shoot someone. You know, these are not the brightest crayons.
Why in God's name did they do that on his property? It makes no sense. We had this, you know, the children have shuffled around in a cult, or oh, they did this. And I mean, it's just the last thing you would think. Maybe that's why they did it. The obvious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so obvious that no one would think of it, kind of.
Yeah, it's like almost like, oh, this is like the dumbest thing.
A lot of people think that, but that's a really bad plan. Okay, if you're ever trying to get out of doing something bad, don't try to do it so overtly, obviously, that you think no one would think it was you. That never works. It just doesn't work.
Never. Yeah, Josie. I don't know how many burner phones she had, but I think she did have a lot.
Yeah, one of the documents said they had like 60 or something like that.
I mean,
that's a lot of burner phones, and you got to wonder, what did they need those for?
I mean, honestly,
how many people are involved in this? What's really going on here? So
it's always scary when you see these cults get unearthed like this, and you start seeing how deep it goes, and you're just like, whoa. Yeah, I mean, it's a powerful thing.
It is, and you know, we're still discovering that little by little. You know, I'm just getting into some of the other preparing a people speakers and authors and seeing how they're all connected back to Chad and Lori. And it's like, oh, this is quite a big thing. It's not just two crazy people that went nuts and killed some people. No, this is a very large group and network of crazy people. So,
well, you know what? Another thing that really struck me as odd, and this is kind of, going off on another tangent here, is, reading that thing today about Melanie Pulowski and that thing from Justin Lum, and then kind of raking back over my mind, and then reading some of the stuff about her own parents, situation that happened. Raking back over my mind and just seeing that flat affect. None of the people involved in this, I mean, it's special, obviously Lori and Chad, but I'm mostly talking, Melanie and Ian, Melanie Gibb. None of them have like the normal reaction that I'm looking for, but yet they're coming out trying to almost say, you know what I mean? Like, that this was shocking, or we're distancing ourselves from any of this, but there's also just not this level of like that we would be like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like utter shock over it. And especially with Melanie Pulowski, where I'm like, yeah, she just had this very flat, fake smile, just that kind of stuff you see in the cult type stuff.
mm-hmm.
And I just keep going over all their interviews that they're doing and just like going over and over and over. And I'm like, yeah, this is really, really bad. Imagine what they were like left to their own devices before all this stuff because right now, I don't think that they think anything's wrong. I think they're saying that things are wrong because they have to, and they know that that's what they're supposed to, but I don't think they believe that. Right. I think that this is all still fairly, normal to them.
Right. And we were talking about that in regards to Melanie Gibb. If Melanie Gibb truly understood how wrong all of her thinking has been, she would understand that she allowed the deaths of 6 people, or at least 5, maybe 6. She allowed it to happen when she could have stopped it. The weight of a realization like that could cripple someone emotionally. She couldn't sit there all smiling and happy with her hair did and smell grapes. No, she would be a blubbering mass of goo on the floor with guilt and remorse and sorrow. And so she doesn't get it. She just doesn't get it.
Well, also, she probably wouldn't be on damn TV talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, their need to run to every damn news outlet and talk. I mean, my God, it's somebody. Josie said, Mel P looks bitter through and through. Preach, girl. Preach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she does. I mean, see, now I still haven't moved completely away from the fact that I think a lot of these people had a thing for what's his name, Chad.
Yes.
How deep that went, I don't know. But like Julie Rowe trying to play that off. I have my husband and da da da, and I'm like, no, the Messiah thing seems to be, kind of intoxicating to this crowd. So because they all kind of same, they all like don't want to say that he's a good looking dude, but that there's something charismatic about him and whatnot. I'm like, why do they have to say that? It's like, it's just so weird. Because Julie was like, I thought he was kind of like, looked like he didn't have a lot of money, and he wore dad pants. I'm like, why would you say that? No, why would you say that? So it's bizarre to me. And Sassy Cassie, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope you've been doing well.
Dee Dee asks, how do they find this stuff? Preparing people, Avow. Yeah, I'm on the Avow forums, and this stuff is all over that place. There are a few sensible people there, but they're few and far between. Most people still adore Julie Rowe over there. There are tons of posts about David Warwick and all of his books, and he had a lot of dreams. He was a very political dreamer. His prophecies were involved around politics. And Chad's stuff was just adored. So you get this giant sort of, what's it called? Echo chamber of all of these people talking about this and believing it. And it feeds and it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And you can see how something like that is a problem. That website's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, and Jess earlier said, and first of all, Jess, how are you doing, girl? just set up here. It's like they're all fighting over who could be the most deceived. And that's so true. And it's so bizarre. You know, I mean, it's just so, I think that's all they know to fall back to, because it is, the whole world's looking at them and saying, like, you really believe this stuff? Like, really? And so that's all they can come up with is, he deceived us. And I'm like, no, he didn't. Like, you were like already buying this, you know, completely just already buying it.
Yep. And Max Carter says maybe Chad was a local celebrity and lots of clout in Idaho. I'm sure he was, because certainly in Rexburg is what, 98% Mormon. Now, even though what Chad was teaching is not Mormon church doctrine, even everyone on a vow, if you ask them, they believe themselves to be very devout Mormons. So within that circle, Chad was very popular. And Preparing a People did all of these talks all over the place with all of these authors. And it was a big deal to get to go as one of these authors and give your talk and sell your books and all of that. And, you know, as much as Mike and Nancy James of Preparing a People are trying to distance themselves from it, it's not working, because they were very good friends with Chad personally, you know, and they are selective of who they have. They try to say, oh, well, it's just a service we provide. We don't, you know, believe anything they say. No, that's not true. Nice try, but that's not true, because you can see all of their posts on Avow going back years. And they are very, very much pro Chad and Hector and Julie and all of these people. Maybe they're not anymore, but, you know, they certainly were. So, but everyone is trying to distance themselves from this and say, oh, no, that's not us. But no. Nice try. It was you. You allowed this to happen. You promoted it. You enabled it. You gave it, you know, you fed the fire. What's Melanie's book called? Melanie Gibbs, Feel the Fire. Yeah, they fed that fire. So now what? You know?
Oh, Lordy do. Oh, Lordy do. Let me get back over to this room here. I was just going to the Avow website. I still need to do my little rabbit hole on that, but I'm afraid I won't survive it.
It's scary.
Oh, I'm sure. It really upsets me. I don't know why I get so upset about it, but I do. I mean, it really gets my blood pressure going. I mean, Julie Rowe had me shook. I mean, I was just like, oh my God. And I know the Avow thing is just going to push me over the edge.
It will. You know, my big thing before this case was the flat earthers, right? How can so many people believe something that is so scientifically provable that they're wrong? How can they possibly do this? And they even go around saying, we have members all over the globe. I'm like, globe's around, you idiots, you know. But yeah. You know, that I can get angry with that scientifically, because that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard, and I can disprove them in 5 minutes. But then you look at Avow, and now you're dealing with a spiritual and intangible philosophy that you can't talk them around from easily, you know. And that's what's scary, is they truly believe this stuff. They genuinely think the end of the world is coming. That's it, period. It is coming. It is a fact. It's going to happen. Sell all of your stock and buy tents, you know. And they really believe this. And that I don't get it. I do not get it. And Allie Apperson is in chat. Hi, Allie. How are you doing? I hope you're all right. I've been thinking about you a lot. Allie needs a wrench. She doesn't have one yet. Let me go find her. Yeah, so the Avow thing will definitely give you some pause. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what would y'all do? Y'all are commenting. What would y'all do if it's like my next video I came out and y'all are like, is he joking? But it was like all like, you know, I have a portal potty in my room, you know, all this stuff they're talking about. Like it drew me in, and like I never came back from it. And I was like, I'm part of the 144,000 now. Make that 144,001.
If you start talking about zombies or something, I'm going to stage an intervention. We're going to go the old school cult deprogramming, back like in the 70s, where they would actually kidnap your family or loved one from a cult and force them into a psychological hold where they would deprogram them. And I'm not above doing that if you think there are zombies.
I still think this personally, because in Julie's thing, she was saying, how Chad's wrong about the day of the end of times or whatever, and it's going to start with this and that, whatever. If I come out with a cult and I'm going to try and start leading it, I'm going to be talking about the year 30,050 or something. Like when there's no way any of us will be around for it, and I'm going to sell it hard. I'm going to have all these facts about that date. I'm like, it's going to be like Wednesday, April 15th, 2:43 p.m., this and that, da-da-da. I mean, because obviously people buy into it. Yeah. And I'll be like, if you want to know how to survive, you can find out for the low cost of $9.99 a month. But wait, that's not it. There's more.
Yep.
No walking with the armchair unless you're certain of it. Yeah, I know, right, Andrew?
But the whole thing about the end times, yes, the Bible does say that this is going to happen sometime. It also says nobody's going to know the date, and you're not even supposed to ask when it's going to happen. Just know that it is. But for thousands of years, we have seen end time cults. In the United States, it picked up around 1844 with the Great Disappointment, right? When the Millerites were out saying, here's the date. Everyone got ready for it. People abandoned their homes and lives because it was going to end, and it didn't, right? And that happened 3 times, and the 3rd time they labeled it the Great Disappointment. You would think, if you have any historical knowledge at all, that buying into this, here's a date for the end of the world thing is probably not your best option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why can they not see that? I don't understand how people can be so easily led into very, very obviously wrong thinking. So,
I mean, yeah, like the Y2K. Remember that? People thought the world, we were scared for the clock to strike 12. It's just like, and that was that. And I don't get it either. I really don't get it. And it's like, they're all loving what's going on right now. Because let's admit, 2020 has been a little bit of a stretch.
Yes.
It's not been the best year we've had. And I'm sure Vallow and all them, they just all think that they're prophets, they're this, they're that, whatever. They're loving it. They are loving it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good night, Emily. Thank you for being here. I love you. Kiss the new grandbaby for me.
Night, Emily. Sweet dreams. Yeah, right, Kimmy. They missed all profit. They're crazy. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what they are.
It is, and I think a lot of the issues that we see, even in this case, have to do with money. Very large life insurance policies. I don't know if everybody running around. Does everyone have $1 million life insurance policies? I don't.
I feel like I need to go get one.
I know. I'm like, what? Am I a scrub because I don't have $1 million life insurance policy? Is this a normal thing? But that's a motivating factor. Yeah. Sherry, thank you so much. I'm sickened by these crazies. No Kool-Aid for me. No, thank you. Absolutely. I'm with you on that one. Oh, Emily, thank you so much. 10 p.m. fireworks going off. Uh-oh. Go take care of the poor puppy. Stay strong, Seamus.
That's right. July 4th is coming up. It's the doggy nightmare. That's that's Halloween, but for dogs. Like, you know what I mean? That's like the scariest holiday for them ever.
Yep.
Well, but people will still, depending on like where we're at, we probably won't hear any fireworks, but like, no. In the city, people start lighting fireworks off weeks before and weeks after.
Mm-hmm. I'm doing one more check of the... All right, Justin Lum has an update. New charges filed against Lori Vallow per source. 2 counts of conspiracy to conceal, alter, or destroy evidence. Remains of her kids were found on the property on the 9th. All right, so Justin Lum confirms those charges are filed against Lori. So there you go.
So there
she has been charged.
There you go.
Right, East Idaho News also just confirmed it. All right, there you go. It is true. Lori Vallow Daybell has been charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to conceal, destroy, or hide evidence. Same charges as Chad. Hopefully we'll actually get the documents, and I will bring those to you. If I'm not live, I'll have a video. I'll have them up in Discord so we can read through them. And I cannot wait to see the affidavit. Cannot wait.
Oh, I know. It's going to be so good. Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Well, right, Allie. Hallelujah. I mean, at least they're all getting charges against these people because, I mean, it was a pretty pissy sight to see them marching around Hawaii looking smug, talking about the kids are fine, the kids are in a safe place, whatever they were saying. I mean, thank God they're where they're at and they're not leaving anytime soon. Ever, most likely. Hopefully.
I put a link in chat with the yellow star. That is a link to East Idaho News article on the charges. You can go read it there. And follow Justin Lum on Twitter, Justin Lum Fox 10, and follow Nate Eaton and Eric Grossarth. All their stuff should be in the description of the video, so you can find them all. But yeah, she has been formally charged. So yes, the new affidavit should be released relatively soon. We got Chad's pretty quick. So I would guess a couple days, maybe even tomorrow,
Dun, dun, dun.
As soon as that's out, though, we will be live reading every single word of that thing.
In it to win it.
Yep, absolutely. Whew. But there you go. Official confirmation. Yeah. Get her. Do I think Zach will be testifying? I don't know. Zach has a lot to say. He's royally pissed at Melanie Gibb for lying. He's got a lot to say, so he might be testifying. He might be. Just checking up on all the comments. Oh, all right. That was a lot of news today. We've been live for over 2 hours, and I am getting tired. Do you have to work in the morning?
I have tomorrow off, amazingly.
Oh, that's excellent. Good thing, because if this document drops...
I mean, seriously.
That means it's not going to drop. It won't drop till you go back to
work. Won't happen tomorrow. Just never don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. It just won't even happen then.
Yep. Good night, Rosie. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chat.
Sweet dreams.
Yep. Yeah, I could plan something fun tomorrow, because if Paul's off, then definitely we won't get
nothing's happening. Nothing's happening.
All right, but that's all the news that happened today. That's a lot to go over. If you want to read the documents from the custody hearing, all of the documents, the last 2 or 3 sets of filings are all in my Discord server under the documents room. So go have at it. There's a lot of information there, a lot of great stuff. As soon as we know anything about the search today, as soon as we get the documents on the charges or the probable cause affidavit, we will bring it to you and we'll hash it out.
Whoa.
Yeah, but I have been sitting there for 2 hours, and I got to go to the bathroom. So
awesome. Well, it's good being on here. Thanks for catching me up on everything, and I look forward to another session.
Thank you for coming on. This, when you and I get into a case, we got to talk about it, or we just go crazy. So.
I know, right? Exactly.
I'm glad you were awake. If you had been working tomorrow, you would be asleep by now. So
I know. Yeah, this is perfect. Timing. So it did work out.
All right, everyone. Good night. Take care.
Night, everybody.
Check all the social medias, and we'll talk to you probably tomorrow. Have a good night.